Am I the asshole for calling the cops on my neighbor after they took a package off my porch? I, 38F, live alone in the house I grew up in. It was left to me by my mother after she passed away 10 years ago. About 4 years ago, a couple about my age moved in next door and we've pretty much been at odds since day one. There have been numerous times and issues that we've disagreed on. I have 3 cats that I sometimes let out into my backyard. My neighbors have a dog that would jump the 5-foot chain link fence separating our yards to chase my cats. I told my neighbors if I caught their dog doing it again, I would call the cops. They actually had the audacity to ask if I would be willing to split the cost of a taller privacy fence instead of, training your dog not to jump the fence. Obviously, I refused as I wasn't the one causing the problem and the fence is technically on their property anyway. They ended up putting in a taller fence. Then, they asked me to split the cost of taking down an ash tree that was on their property. It had become infested with some bug that killed the tree and dead limbs were falling on their driveway. They had the city come out and the survey guy said the tree was actually about 10% on my property. I told them the tree was theirs and if they want it down, they'll have to pay for it because I don't have a problem with it. Needless to say, we're not friends. They've also thrown some loud, late-night parties that included bonfires and loud music that I had to call the cops for as well. I am currently out of town visiting family for a couple weeks. I have a friend who comes over to my house every day to check on my cats and check for mail and packages. I have medication for my cats that are delivered regularly. I got a notification the other day that some packages were delivered, so I texted my friend to let them know. But before my friend could get there, I got a notification from my Ring doorbell. I pulled up the live feed and saw my neighbor on my patio. I asked him what he was doing and he said a package of theirs got delivered to my house by mistake so he was just grabbing it. I told him to leave and that my friend would bring over his package when she comes over. He said he's not waiting for that and tried to leave. I told him if he takes a package from my porch I'm calling the cops. He shoved the package in front of the camera and said, "That's my name and address, op. I'm taking my package." Then he walked away. So, I called the police and told them that he stole a package from me and I have video proof. They said they would investigate. When my friend got there a little later, the police were talking to my neighbors. The police must have left while she was checking on my cats, because when she went to leave it was just my neighbors outside. The husband yelled at her to tell me that I'm a huge asshole and that I need to take the police off speed dial and let them deal with more important shish. Instead of using them as my own personal problem-solving service. You are the asshole. You sound like the miserable neighbor in this scenario, not them. Info. It sounds like maybe the package was really the neighbor's since he held it up to the camera claiming it showed his name and address. Was something of his actually delivered to you? Info. Do you have proof that you were actually expecting a package around the same time? Absolutely seems like you just wasted police time to be in awe. You're a pretty world-class asshole. I pray you never live anywhere near me. The police must hate you. Am I the asshole for telling my daughter she will never be on the same level as her friend's childhood friends? My daughter met this girl 4 years ago at a marathon where they both did extremely well and a friendship blossomed. They have a lot in common. They both like music, running, working out, art, TV shows etc. and they both are at the same university albeit doing different courses. My daughter visited me, us, wife and her brother, and she basically let a lot of stuff out about her friendship with this girl recently. She talked about how she feels like their friendship will never be close-knit like she wants. She talked about how she feels her friend is way closer to her childhood friends and how she feels jealous seeing pictures on social media of them on nights out and partying. She feels like her friend is talking to her less and less, both in person and social media, and not making time for her. She talks about how she's gone back through her old social media and feels jealous seeing the old photos of her friendship with her childhood friends. Finally she said the straw that broke the camel's back for her was that, on her birthday 2 weeks ago, her friend didn't wish her happy birthday. She said she tried to then visit her friend at her accommodation but no answer. She mentioned how she feels betrayed with how she made a big presentation for her friend's birthday earlier this year. She was really emotional throughout this telling. My wife, her mum obviously was trying to console her and telling her to keep working on it. I however had a different stance. I told her basically that she's never going to be on the same level as her friend's childhood friends. They've been friends since childhood, they've gone through school and all those trial together and they know each other inside out. I told my daughter that she has to accept this when maintaining her friendship with this girl. I advised her to try to look back at her friendship with her friends over the years, work on consolidating connections with them, and that there is nothing wrong with being less emotionally invested in this friend. On top of all this, one other important detail. I didn't say this to her. Her friend is 20, she is 25. To put that age difference into perspective, she was born in the 1990s, last millennia, while her friend was born in 2003. Their childhood's experiences are broadly similar, but that difference is difficult to ignore. My daughter didn't react well to my advice. She said that I was telling to settle for less and I'm putting her down, and she said that feels a big connection with her friend, which I had no real answer to. We got into an argument, I told her to grow up and she left. I do feel how she's acting is incredibly childish, however I do feel empathetic for her as the last few years have difficult for her socially and I feel her social skills have really declined. On top of that, having met her friend personally, she is a really lovely, warm, friendly and sweet girl and I can see why my daughter feels close with her. Not the asshole. Your daughter isn't reading the room properly. She is acting like a kid with a one-sided crush. This other person doesn't owe her a close intimate friendship or a spot amongst her tier 1 friends. Not the asshole. Your daughter seems really invested in this friend. Like, a lot. I think the other girl started to get uncomfortable with this and began to ghost her slowly. I know I would. Not the asshole, and you're not wrong. The relationship this friend has with her childhood friends will never be the same as the friendship she has with your daughter. The age gap can also play a big part in the dynamic as well. She got mad because it's not what she wanted to hear. You said nothing about her settling for less, just trying to explain that these two friendships are completely different. Has your daughter always had issues like this, either making friends or the emotions she feels around her friendship? Not the asshole. When you have to spell this to a 25-year-old, you got bigger problems in life. Not the asshole. But there are additional issues with your daughter's near obsession with this younger woman's life. Am I the asshole for insisting my pregnant sister switch bedrooms with me? Throw away cuz I don't want it connected to my main. My sister and I, both mid-20s SF, I'm a few years older, share a house together. It was our parents' house and we both inherited it after they died. We have equal ownership of the house. The house has 4 bedrooms, one is the master room and has an en-suite and walk-in wardrobe. The others 3 just have built-in robes. When we both moved back in after deciding that neither of us wanted to sell, we agreed that she could have the master suite, but the 2 largest of the other bedrooms would both be mine. One is an actual bedroom and the other is a gaming room for me. The last and smallest bedroom is a guest room. Her boyfriend's been living here for a while and she recently told me that she's pregnant. I'm not particularly looking forward to sharing a house with a screaming baby, but it's her house too and she has every right to be here and raise her kid. Obviously, the baby will need a bedroom, and I was expecting that to be the guest room. It is the smallest bedroom in the house, but it's still the same size as a standard bedroom. But my sister wouldn't go for that. She's insisting I move my stuff out of my games room so that can be that baby's room. I told her that I'm not moving my stuff into the guest room, because that wasn't our agreement, but then she informed me that actually, I won't be able to do that either, as we would still need a guest room, especially with the baby coming as her BF's family will want to visit. So I said fine, you can have my games room, if you move into my room and give me the master room. She started crying and said that as a mother, she's going to need her own space and she deserves the master bedroom. I asked what she expected me to do, and she said I should just suck it up and keep all my crap in my own room. We're at an impasse and I can't get her to come to a real agreement with me. She keeps calling me a huge bitch, and says that I should let her have both the master bedroom and my gaming room because she needs them more. Her boyfriend says I should just deal with it, that because I don't want kids anyway, I should just suck it up. My girlfriend, who also spends a lot of time here, is on my side and says my sister is being a spoiled entitled little brat. Am I the asshole? Edit. She can't buy me out, she doesn't have the money. We each got some money along with the house, but she wanted a fancy Range Rover so most of hers went to that and she can't get a loan because she's only working part-time at Macca's at the moment. I still have all of my money plus some of my own savings, so I will be having a discussion with her re-buying her out. The house is located in a nice, expensive area, so what she gets from me for her half will be enough for her to buy an average 3-bedroom house in a cheaper area. Really don't want to sell if I can help it as house has been in the family a long time. Not the asshole. Do not under any circumstances give up your gaming room or else they're going to try and move you out of that house. Tell her to take the guest room and make it an even 2 bedrooms for each. The boyfriend's family can sleep on the sofa or they can go to a hotel. You own half of the house, not him. Not the asshole. Being pregnant doesn't entitle her to start land grabbing and hoarding rooms for herself and baby and BF. If she wants more than 50% of the house, then she can offer you financial compensation for it. There are multiple forms that could take, or you could buy her out and she can scram. In ta. If I were you, I'd look at uncoupling lives from your sister and ending the 50-50 living together. She has started using her child as a weapon to worsen your life. You don't want to live with her long term. Sell ASAP. This is only going to get worse from here. Get a real estate and bank appraisal. Tell her to either refinance and buy out your 50%, or you can both sell. If she refused, you have the right to take her to court where a judge will force her to do the same. Oh God, this is gonna end up on TikTok, isn't it? Am I the asshole for choosing to celebrate my sister's birthday instead of my dad's wedding? I, 27M, have always been close with my younger sister, Mary, 20F. Mary has been overlooked by my dad from the moment she was born. My dad never wanted a daughter, and tensions with his ex-wife, Mary's mom, lead to him basically excluding her from everything. Nothing she ever does is good enough for him, and she is often excluded from family gatherings. I always try my best to include her or even take her out, just the two of us, to make her feel better, but it's obvious that being excluded hurts her a lot. I am my dad's golden child and grew up spoiled, and, while she tries not to show it, I can tell Mary is jealous of the attention my dad gives me. A month from now is Mary's 21st birthday and she's very excited about it. I live in a different state, but I made a promise to fly over on her birthday so that I could take her to get her first drink. We have been planning this for months and I already got the tickets. My dad, 56M, is currently engaged to Janice, 57F, and a few days ago he texted me, letting me know that their wedding plans changed and they planned to get married in her parents' yard on June 8. He said he knew it was short notice, but they agreed that a small ceremony would be better so they could go to the beach for their honeymoon while it was still nice. Now, my problem isn't the short notice, my problem is that June 8 just so happens to be Mary's birthday. Like, not even a day before or later. No, he plans to get married on his daughter's birthday. I brought that up and my dad brushed it off, saying it's just a date and it wasn't like my sister was going to celebrate her birthday with us anyways. I told my dad I already had plans to fly down and celebrate Mary's birthday with her and I wouldn't be able to make both events. He seemed shocked by this and asked why I didn't just cancel for his wedding since I'm already paying to come down. I could even bring Mary along and celebrate her there if it meant that much to me. I'll admit, this pissed me off because the least he could do was acknowledge his daughter's birthday. I told my dad that I plan to spend my day with Mary and the only way I will come to his wedding is if she is invited and decides to go. He tried to argue with me, saying that birthdays come every year and weddings don't, to which I responded that this is his third, so it's not that special, but my sister turning 21 is. My dad hasn't spoken to me since then, but Janice and other family have been calling and texting me non-stop. Janice told me that my dad has been crying and miserable over what I said and that my selfishness has ruined their wedding. I'll admit that what I said may be harsh, but I also stand by it. I am not the one being selfish here, and if my dad wants his child at his wedding so badly, he can have all or nothing. However, my dad and family are still mad at me and saying that I'm being petty and ruining his big day, so, am I the asshole? Not the asshole. What goes around comes around, and her 21st is a huge milestone. It says way more about your dad that his wedding was scheduled to conflict with it. Wait, he said you could bring her along if you wanted? Meaning he didn't invite her himself? Not the asshole. Obviously not the asshole, that dad needs to go. Don't try and have sister come to the wedding, she needs to feel special, for once. He changed his wedding date and you already have plans for that day. Simple as that. Not the asshole. Not the asshole, but wow. Can your dad be any more of a, well, you know what? Stand by your sister. Your dad can change the date as easily as he did before, but you're right. Your sister will only turn 21 once and she will remember this for the rest of her life. You're an amazing sister, and I know as a sister myself, I know how much you standing by her will mean to her. And make sure she knows not to let your dad or Janice, and their flying monkeys, pressure her to attend the wedding because they want you there. Hope you guys have a blast. Collision.